Mike Brown isn't just leading the New York Knicks, he's redefining how leadership operates within the franchise. As the Knicks prepare for the start of the season, Brown's impact is being felt not only among the players on the court, but also among the coaches beside him on the bench. His philosophy is clear. Great teams are built through collaboration, empowerment, and trust, values that extend beyond the hardwood and into the heart of the Knicks coaching culture. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. With a restructured coaching staff and a new sense of direction, the Knicks are entering a pivotal moment under Brown's command. Some names remain from the Tom Thibodeau era, respected veterans like Maurice Cheeks and Rick Brunson, but Brown has also infused the staff with new perspectives and fresh energy. This blend of experience and innovation is precisely what he believes will elevate the franchise to the next level. During training camp and preseason, Brown shared insight into his process, one that prioritizes growth and development not just for players, but for coaches as well. "I've done it quite a bit. Did it with Sacramento," Brown explained in an interview with SNY's Ian Begley. "Actually, I got it from Steve Kerr. When I was with Steve in Golden State, I led the huddle multiple times in multiple games. Throughout the course of a game, probably almost 90% of the time, I didn't even tell him what I was about to tell the guys defensively. He had that much trust in me, and it helped me grow. It helped save his voice and gave the players another voice to hear." That same approach, he said, is something he's bringing to New York. "I liked it in Sacramento, and I'm going to try it here." Our offensive coordinator is Chris Gent. Our defensive coordinator is Brendan O'Connor, BOC. All those guys, as well as everybody else, have done a fantastic job coaching, so giving them an opportunity during games is something I'll do. Brown's words reveal the foundation of his leadership style, a commitment to shared responsibility and constant growth. For him, coaching isn't a one-man show. It's a collective effort, and every assistant plays a key role in the final product seen on the floor. By giving his assistants a voice and the freedom to lead huddles, call adjustments, and take ownership during games, Brown is cultivating a staff that operates like a unified front. It's a concept that traces back to Brown's time with two championship-caliber organizations, the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. From Kerr, Brown learned that delegation builds confidence, not competition. By allowing his assistants to step into leadership roles, Brown gives them room to develop their instincts, sharpen their communication, and deepen their trust with players. This empowerment doesn't just benefit the coaches, it strengthens the entire team dynamic. The Knicks assistant staff is filled with basketball minds who have spent decades in the NBA, from player development experts to tacticians who know the ins and outs of game planning. Together, they form the strategic backbone of Brown's system. When every assistant approaches the game as if they were the head coach, the collective IQ of the team rises, and so does its potential. That shared sense of leadership also resonates with the players. In the same way that Brown wants his assistants to think and act like head coaches, he wants his players to think like leaders on the court. The message is consistent from top to bottom. Everyone has a voice, and everyone is accountable. Such a culture, Brown believes, creates resilience. Over the course of an 82-game season, adversity is inevitable. Injuries, fatigue, losing streaks. What keeps teams steady through those stretches isn't just talent, but structure. When leadership is distributed throughout the locker room and coaching staff, the Knicks can weather the ups and downs of the NBA grind with unity and purpose. It's a refreshing change of pace for a franchise that, for years, has battled inconsistency both on and off the floor. Brown's presence brings stability and professionalism, the kind that mirrors successful organizations across the league. His assistants, armed with experience and trust, are helping build a culture that values development as much as execution. As the Knicks prepare to open their season against the Cleveland Cavaliers next week, the atmosphere around the team feels different. Practices are sharper. Communication is stronger. The chemistry between players and coaches appears genuine, not forced. Brown's system, where assistants lead, players take ownership, and everyone buys into a shared vision, has already begun to redefine what it means to be part of the Knicks. The staff's unity sends a clear message. The Knicks are no longer a team built around a single voice, but around a chorus of confident, capable leaders working toward one goal. The challenge of an NBA season is relentless, a test of endurance and adaptability. But for Brown, this approach, rooted in trust, mentorship, and empowerment, is the foundation for sustained success. As the lights brighten at Madison Square Garden and the season tips off, one thing is clear: Under Mike Brown, the Knicks are not only ready to compete, they're ready to evolve. Malcolm Brogdon's retirement brings clarity to the Knicks roster. In a stunning late preseason development, the New York Knicks got the clarity they didn't expect, and perhaps didn't realize they needed. Veteran guard Malcolm Brogdon, a player long respected for his poise, leadership, and efficiency, has announced his retirement just 7 days before the team's regular season opener. The move ends a 9-year NBA career marked by both individual accolades and persistent injuries. Brogdon leaves behind an impressive resume: 2017 Rookie of the Year, 2023 Sixth Man of the Year, and the reputation of being one of the smartest, most dependable guards of his generation. But after years of battling physical setbacks, the 32-year-old decided to call it a career before even playing an official game in a Knicks uniform. For the Knicks, this decision couldn't have come at a more strategic time. The front office was deep in the process of finalizing its roster ahead of the league's cut deadline, balancing veterans, promising young players, and a new system under head coach Mike Brown. Brogdon's unexpected retirement removes one of the toughest choices from that equation, streamlining the decision-making process just as the team transitions into the regular season. Brogdon's struggles were evident during the preseason. In limited minutes, he averaged 4.2 points and 2.3 assists while shooting below 30% from the field. The agility and rhythm that once defined his game had faded, and it became increasingly clear that his body was no longer keeping pace with the demands of the league. Once known for his steadiness and ability to anchor a second unit, Brogdon had become a veteran fighting to prove he still belonged, a battle he chose to end on his own terms. When Brogdon signed with New York a little over a month ago, the deal was viewed as low risk and potentially high reward. The Knicks hoped his veteran presence could stabilize the backcourt rotation and bring playoff experience to a roster adjusting to Brown's leadership and new offensive schemes. But as preseason games unfolded, the emergence of younger, healthier guards made the veteran's path to a roster spot uncertain. By stepping away now, Brogdon does the Knicks a favor. His departure eliminates the need for a difficult cut and opens up roster flexibility for players more likely to contribute consistently throughout the season. It's a graceful exit for a player who's always carried himself with professionalism and integrity. The ripple effects of Brogdon's decision are immediate. His absence reshapes the battle for the final roster spots, now centered around Landry Shamet and Garrison Matthews, both signed on veteran minimum deals. Shamet, a proven three-point specialist, was already a strong candidate to make the cut, and Brogdon's exit virtually secures his place. Matthews remains on the fringe, his future dependent on whether the Knicks prioritize shooting depth or player development. That decision could involve a tough call. Keeping Matthews may require trading one of New York's young guards, Miles McBride, Tyler Kolek, or Packham Dadiot. Each has made a strong case to stay. McBride, in particular, has become a fan favorite, a relentless defender and scrappy scorer who embodies the grit of New York basketball. Trading him would be painful, even if it brought back value. Kolek, with his elite playmaking instincts, and Dadiot, a versatile young wing, both offer long-term upside that the Knicks may not be ready to give up. From a coaching perspective, Mike Brown gains something valuable from this moment: clarity. The backcourt rotation now looks sharper and more defined. Jalen Brunson remains the unquestioned leader, orchestrating the offense with poise and control. Behind him, McBride, Josh Hart, and Jordan Clarkson provide balance, defensive intensity, and secondary scoring options. Shamet's perimeter shooting rounds out a group that gives Brown flexibility to adjust his rotations depending on matchups. It's a far cry from the uncertainty that clouded training camp. The Knicks' guard room had been crowded, even chaotic, with too many capable players and not enough spots. Brogdon's departure, while bittersweet, gives the team breathing room and a more streamlined path into the season. Beyond roster logistics, Brogdon's retirement is also a reminder of how quickly careers can shift in the NBA. Just 2 years ago, he was one of the league's most dependable veterans, a stabilizing force in Boston and a vital contributor to playoff runs. Now, his quiet goodbye underscores how unforgiving the league can be, especially for players whose games rely on rhythm, timing, and physical endurance. For New York, this moment represents both loss and opportunity. They lose a respected voice, but gain direction and stability heading into one of their most anticipated seasons in recent memory. With Mike Brown establishing a new culture built on discipline, accountability, and pace, the Knicks are entering a new phase, one defined less by uncertainty and more by purpose. As the lights prepare to shine on Madison Square Garden, the Knicks' path forward feels clearer than it has in years. Brogdon's exit may not make headlines for long, but its impact will linger, simplifying a once crowded roster picture and giving New York's front office and coaching staff the focus they need. In the end, Malcolm Brogdon walks away from basketball with dignity, and the Knicks move forward with a renewed sense of direction. His retirement wasn't part of the plan, but sometimes, in sports, timing is everything. For both sides, this might just be the perfect ending. The New York Knicks are entering one of the most highly anticipated seasons in recent franchise history, and their opening stretch could determine whether they go all in on a move that would shake the NBA to its core, a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. This new era in New York basketball begins with Mike Brown, the team's new head coach and respected veteran leader with championship pedigree. Brown's hiring was a statement by the Knicks, a sign that the organization is done with mediocrity and ready to chase something bigger. He brings a balance of structure and creativity, and most importantly, a style built around speed, spacing, and defensive discipline. The Knicks are expected to look different from the very first tip-off. Under Brown, the plan is simple but ambitious. Push the pace, shoot more threes, and maximize the talent already on the roster. The front office believes that a new system, combined with a fresh voice in the locker room, can elevate this team from playoff contender to legitimate title threat. But looming over every step of that process is one undeniable storyline: Giannis Antetokounmpo. As ESPN insider Vince Goodwill revealed, the Knicks and Milwaukee Bucks quietly discussed a potential deal for the two-time MVP during the offseason. While nothing came of it, the fact that those conversations even took place has cast a long shadow over Madison Square Garden. Off the floor, the Antetokounmpo situation will hang over the team all season, Goodwill wrote. Several key players will be keeping an eye on what's happening in Milwaukee, tracking Giannis' frame of mind. That observation captures the tension perfectly. The Knicks know that the opportunity to land a player like Antetokounmpo doesn't come around often, but they also know that their pursuit depends on what happens in the first few months of this season. If New York starts strong, the message will be clear: stay the course. Let the chemistry build. Trust the system. And wait until the summer to reassess. But if the Knicks stumble out of the gate or struggle to find consistency under Brown, the pressure could mount quickly, and that's when the talk of a Giannis trade will heat up again. The stakes couldn't be higher. The Knicks' opening schedule is favorable, giving them an early chance to define their identity. The first 15 to 20 games will serve as a testing ground for Brown's system, an early indicator of how well the players are adapting to faster decision-making and a more aggressive offense. Those games could also shape the narrative for the rest of the year. If they find rhythm early, the Knicks could emerge as one of the Eastern Conference's top teams even without a superstar addition. That scenario would give the front office leverage, the ability to approach any trade from a position of strength rather than desperation. However, if things go the other way, the dynamic shifts dramatically. A slow start could trigger a wave of speculation, not just among fans and media, but inside the league itself. Executives across the NBA know how unpredictable the mid-season trade market can be, and if Milwaukee faces its own struggles, both teams could find themselves at a crossroads. For the Bucks, the question would be whether to hold onto their core or begin a new chapter. For the Knicks, it would be whether to risk stability for a chance at superstardom. Pulling off a deal of that magnitude in the middle of a season would be bold, even risky, but it wouldn't be out of character for New York's front office, which has shown increasing confidence in recent years. A trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo wouldn't just alter the Knicks' trajectory, it would redefine the entire balance of power in the Eastern Conference. Until then, the Knicks' focus must remain internal. Mike Brown's mission is to build an identity rooted in consistency and effort. He's made it clear that he wants the team to be unpredictable, not just relying on isolation plays or one-on-one heroics, but on movement, spacing, and trust. Players like Jalen Brunson will be critical to that approach, serving as both floor general and tone setter. If the team buys in early, New York could finally have the stability it's lacked for years, and that might make the pursuit of Giannis less urgent. But if they falter, every missed shot, every turnover, and every close loss will amplify the same question: should the Knicks make the move that could change everything? The truth is, both paths carry risk. Staying patient could mean missing a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Making a trade too soon could disrupt the progress Brown is trying to build. But that's the reality of a franchise on the rise, and a fan base starving for something bigger than just playoff appearances. So as the Knicks prepare to open the season, the storylines are already swirling. Mike Brown's debut. The evolution of Brunson as a leader. the chemistry between the team's young stars. And, of course, the silent watch over Milwaukee, where Giannis Antetokounmpo's every move will be scrutinized from afar. In the end, the first few months could define everything. The tone of Brown's first year, the shape of the Knicks' future, and whether the dream of bringing Giannis to Madison Square Garden becomes reality or remains just that, a dream. Because in New York, patience is a luxury. And if the Knicks want to prove they belong among the NBA's elite, they might soon face the ultimate test of timing, knowing when to hold steady and when to take the biggest swing in franchise history.